Today we're going to be talking about red light therapy or photobiomodulation. We're going to be talking about what it is, how it works, and my personal experience after 2.5 years of regularly using red light therapy. The health benefits of light aren't always talked about. Light is vital to our overall health in the same way that water, nutritious food, and good sleep are. Light is essential for cellular function and energy production. In our modern society, we spend a huge amount of time inside under artificial lighting. And to add on top of that, we oftentimes spend hours a day with a little box that emits bright blue light mere inches from our face. And the reality is, in the past century or so, it's the first time in human history that humans have spent such a large amount of time outside and away from natural lighting sources. In the past, people would spend a lot of time outside working, say, in the fields or in the streets or just outside in general because electricity wasn't available inside, and they would spend the evenings sitting around a fire, which also emits red and near infrared light. Studies are beginning to show that the lack of exposure that we have to natural lighting sources is having a very negative effect on our overall health and well-being. Just like a poor diet can lead to malnutrition, poor lighting can result in malillumination. I thought today's video was especially timely because we are entering the season of the least amount of time outside, the least amount of exposure to natural light here in the middle of the winter season. In fact, I'm sitting here under these harsh artificial lights because it's a super gloomy day here where I am in Utah. And while it potentially is not as good as the natural lighting sources, right? We always seek for the most natural lighting sources. Red light therapy is a great way for us to supplement and to get the light exposure that we need when we cannot, for one way or another, get it from the natural sources. There are 5 types of bioactive light, or light that affects our cells. The first kind is blue light, and blue light sets the circadian rhythm of our brains. Although in today's day and age, there is a prevalence of overexposure to blue light, which is causing overstimulation and getting our circadian rhythms all jacked up. You've probably heard not to use your phone for the last hour or so before going to bed, and this is exactly why. The second type of light is called far infrared, and this heats up our cells and acts on circulation. The third is UV light, and UV light allows us to synthesize vitamin D from the sun. The fourth is red light, and red light stimulates increased cellular energy or ATP production in our cells, which is the mitochondria of the cell. And the fifth is near infrared. Near infrared light also stimulates increased ATP production in our cells. But in today's video, we are going to focus on that red light and that near infrared light. There's actually a huge body of scientific research and evidence that have been conducted on red light and near infrared light, which is super exciting because that's not always the case when we kind of look at alternative modes of healing and vitality. In fact, over 3,000 peer-reviewed studies have been done on the effects of red and near infrared light. I'm just gonna start by doing an overview and a quick rundown of all of the benefits of red and near infrared light, and then we're going to get into a few of my favorites. So the benefits of red and near infrared light include increased energy, increased health with skin conditions, enhanced collagen production, fat loss and cellulite reduction, reduction in inflammation and pain within the body, enhanced muscle recovery, enhanced physical performance. It can improve your mood and cognitive function. It can speed wound healing. It can reduce hair loss. It can boost testosterone. It can enhance fertility. It can improve eye health. It can combat gingivitis, and honestly, so much more. I know it can seem a little bit too good to be true that this one thing can have such a positive impact on so many different aspects of your health, but I would really encourage you to get your own copy of the book, The Ultimate Guide to Red Light Therapy by Ari Whitten. This is kind of the gold standard. It really outlines exactly what red and near infrared light therapy is, the benefits of it, the dosage, everything like that. And what I love is at the very end of the book, it's all the footnotes to where you can reference the exact scientific articles and journals that support all of the information that's in the first half of the book. So let's start by simply going over what is red and near infrared light. These are simply parts of the electromagnetic spectrum, specifically part of the spectrum of light that is emitted from the sun and from fire. These wavelengths are bioactive in humans, meaning that they can affect us on a cellular level. So how do red and near infrared lights work to benefit us in our health? While most wavelengths are unable to penetrate the body, red and near infrared light can penetrate deep into the body and reach us on a deep cellular level. It can reach our blood, our nerves, our brain, things like that. One visual that I really like to picture is if you take your thumb and you put it over a flashlight, and you should preferably do this in a dark room. I'm in a very bright lit room. You can see that red emitting through your finger, right? And that just is kind of a visual representation of what red light is doing. It's penetrating deep into your tissues and deep into your cells. Red and near infrared light help to stimulate ATP production in the mitochondria of the cell. So it is pop quiz time, right? Go back to middle school science class, right? And we would always have to answer the pop quiz question. Mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cells, right? The powerhouse of the cells. It creates ATP, which is the energy production. And it simply boils down to the more efficient and effective we are at creating and using ATP, the better we feel. Our bodies are in a continuous process of creating and using ATP. ATP is required for every function of the body, right? From while we're sleeping, we're using ATP. While we're breathing, while we're eating, of course, while we're working out. But simply just baseline metabolism, right? If I was just literally sitting here, I'm still utilizing ATP in the body. Our body is constantly using it and therefore constantly needing to make it. So red and near infrared light can help us by improving our cellular respiration process and making us more efficient and effective at both making ATP and utilizing ATP within the body. It also helps to decrease inflammation and increase blood flow. And the cool part is that the use of an LED red light panel can bring the same benefits as being exposed to sun or fire without the potential negative side effects of things like over UV exposure, overheat exposure, and things like that. I'm going to take just a minute now to explain my own personal journey with red light therapy, why I ever started, and what it's been like for me well over 2 years into using red light therapy. I also just want to say, quick disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. I'm simply sharing my own personal experience. So when my son was born, I felt like I got hit by a freight train. Prior to this, I had never struggled with depression or anxiety or anything like that. And the baby blues, or whatever you want to call it, about 3 weeks postpartum hit me really hard. And because I had never dealt with this before, I felt like I was floundering and just didn't really know where to turn or what to do. Now, for my own personal reasons, I did not want to turn to pharmacological interventions. And so I started doing a lot of research. The crazy thing is I had already been looking at red light therapy prior to this, just for its positive effects on things like skin, collagen production, and all of those kind of great benefits. But the reality is that red light panels are relatively expensive, and so I just had not bit the bullet. But in the weeks and months following my son's birth, I got to the point where I felt like I needed to do something drastic. And so it was the final catalyst that I needed in order to buy a red light panel. Now, I'll be pretty honest, when I first got the panel, I was pretty skeptical, right? Like all of those benefits I went through earlier, it sometimes seems a little bit too good to be true. So I kind of went in a little bit cautiously. And I also simultaneously started doing all of the research on PubMed.gov myself to kind of see if all of these claims were true. I also just want to say that as I share my experience, our health is complex and there's no such thing as a silver bullet, one thing that's going to cure all, right? Our health is complex. It involves things like environmental toxins, how much sleep we're getting, how much stress we're under at any given time. And so I just want to acknowledge that, but at the same time, I can also be very grateful for and express my gratitude and the positive results that red light therapy have had for me and on my health. So I will tell you that after well over 2 years, I'm just coming up on 2.5 years of using red light therapy very regularly, between 3 and 5 times a week. I absolutely love it, and I will personally never stop using it. The best way I can describe it is that when you're sitting in front of a red light, the actual process of sitting there, for the first couple seconds, it doesn't really feel like much. But then after about 30 seconds, 45 seconds or so, it feels like you're getting a warm hug all the way down deep into your bones. It's like taking a shot of espresso without any of the jittery side effects. And that makes sense, right? After we talked about everything with ATP, it makes sense that that's the way you're gonna feel, right? This flood of energy, because it's helping your body stimulate ATP production from the cells. There's no doubt that red light therapy helped me tremendously in the months after my son was born. And even after I was kind of out of that baby blues stage, I did not stop using red light. I love red light for all of the other positive benefits that we talked about earlier. And just to give you a little bit more of a testament, I'm not the only one in my household who loves red light therapy. My husband also started using red light therapy a few times a week, and he continues to use it a few years later as well. So for those of you who have skeptical spouses, you kind of understand what kind of just how big of a deal it is when they continue to use something for years. Red light therapy can also be used for children. There's actually very few, I don't think any contradictions to using it. And the thing is, you just want to be careful that they're not having it in their eyes. So do your own research on that. But for example, my son hurt his knee, and so I put little goggles on him and had him sit in front of it for his knee to help kind of start healing that injury faster. It can also be used on dogs. My sister has a red light device, and her dog, unfortunately, his ACL got busted. And so they put their dog in front of that to kind of help with that healing as well. So it can be used for many different things, for many different purposes. And I absolutely have loved my use of the red light device. Now, a few of the reasons I've personally continued to use my red light device is for its anti-aging properties, right? Like, who isn't excited about anti-aging properties? I personally am not interested in Botox ever. I don't like the neurotoxin side of that. But of course, I want to look, young and fresh and whatever. I'm not one of those people that doesn't want to ever look like they age. But I'm gonna do the things within my power to look youthful and nice, right? And this is just a very, low intervention kind of way to do that. And it's really cool because red and near infrared light have been proven to increase collagen production in the skin by up to 31%, which is pretty crazy from just sitting in front of a light for a few minutes a day. Red light therapy has also been proven to decrease wrinkles, decrease aging spots, and decrease color patches, as well as hyperpigmentation and discoloration. So it's really good for skin. I know that people use it if they have intense acne or even just acne scars from back in the day. Current use of how I'm using it, I actually had like a little bit of an allergic reaction on the side of my eye, and it was getting really out of control. So I amped up the amount of time that I was focusing the red light on the outside of my eye, and it's really under control. Like, it's almost not even noticeable after only about 4 days of use in front of the red light. So again, super cool. Anecdotally, all of these claims seem to be true, in my own personal life. The benefits don't stop there for the skin. Red and near infrared light can also help with burns, herpes, psoriasis, wound healing through tissue repair, and so much more. A few other benefits of red light is that it can help with hair loss and hair production. So people who have, balding spots or things like that, it's been proven to not only increase the amount of hair that's being produced, but also thicken the diameter of the existing hair. So pretty cool. I haven't started using it for this personally yet, but red light therapy has also been proven to reduce cellulite. One study found that routine use of red light therapy paired with massage can reduce cellulite by 71%. Pretty crazy again, right? All of these stats, all of these benefits, like, it just seems pretty wild. And then there's all of this scientific research to back it up. So, go read it yourself. Get the book I mentioned earlier. Go back and read those footnotes. Go on PubMed.gov and do the research yourself. It's actually super encouraging, right? In a world where there's seems to be a lot of bad news, this is one thing where I'm like, this is good news, and there's scientific data to back it up. So, I think we should all be singing it from the rooftops. Additionally, red light and near infrared light is also great for muscle recovery or just recovery in general. This is actually the piece that kind of won my husband over, right? Like, if you work out and you're lifting weights, or you go for a run and you kind of amp up your workout and you get that sore lactic acid feeling, it seriously speeds up muscle recovery. Other fitness benefits of red and near infrared light include increased muscle mass and strength, increased endurance and energy, reduced delayed onset muscle soreness. It speeds up muscle recovery. It promotes quicker healing of injuries. It reduces pain and inflammation resulting from working out, and it reduces overall body fat. When used before exercise, red and near infrared light can improve performance and endurance, help prevent muscle damage. You can have less soreness after workout, and when used before exercise, it appears to be the most effective for weight loss. Then, if used after exercise, red and near infrared light reduces oxidative stress and inflammation on the body. It speeds up muscle recovery and repair. It reduces healing time for wound or injuries, and it reduces lingering pain. I do want to note though that red light needs to be incorporated routinely into your life in order to see these kind of benefits. It's not a one and done type of thing. I personally use red light between 3 and 5 times a week. My husband uses it a little bit less, maybe 2 times a week. And in that same book, you can also explore the dosages, because people, I think, always think that more is better. That's not really the case with red light. There are optimal amounts of time to sit in front of it depending depending on your results. I think that most people would benefit most from 10, maximum 15 minutes sitting in front of the red light a day, because if you actually go too much, it's not going to hurt you. You're just not going to see the benefits and the results that you're wanting. Now, I'm just going to be really upfront about the cost of red light. It ain't cheap, and that is the reason that I put it off for so long. As I talk about the investment of it, the company that I have my red light panel for, which is called Orion, I became a partner with them so that I could give you guys a 10% off coupon. So if you use the link down in my description, that will get you 10% off, which can help you with that initial investment. I will say, when you're looking into this, not all panels are created equal. You can, find some pretty cheap ones on Alibaba or, kind of these other sites online. But this is a case, I think, of you get what you pay for a little bit. To some degree, there are a lot of other reputable companies other than Orion. I know Juvie is one of them, BioLight is one of them. But there's a difference between a light bulb that is red and red light and near infrared light. So just be careful with that, because I would hate for you to spend money on something that literally is gonna do nothing for you other than be a red light bulb in your room. So just look into that while you're doing your research. After nearly 2.5 years, my only regret with my red light is that I did not start out with a bigger panel. My panel, I can only really do like my gut at any given time, or my head or my shoulder. I have to target different areas of my body. Again, that's a cost thing, and it's a good way to start out to make sure that you like it before you invest in something more. But I know that in the near future, I'm going to invest in a full body panel because I love it so much, and I just get kind of annoyed, honestly, that I have to like move it around. And again, you can use that link down below to get you that 10% off to kind of help with the cost. Now, more recently, I used the company BioLight to get a red light for the gums and teeth. I've started doing all this research on how integral your gum and oral health is to everything else in your body, and as it relates to cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, all these kind of crazy things. And so I got a red light specific for the gums, but I've only had this for a couple weeks. I got this on the Black Friday sale. So let me know if you want me to do a follow-up specific to red light for oral health in the future, because I would love to, after I've used this a little bit longer, to do an honest review on this one as well. If you would like to learn more about red light therapy, check out that book by Ari Whitten. And then I also have a non-toxic living guide that I talk a little bit about red light, as well as all sorts of other non-toxic living, biohacking, optimal health, wellness types of things. You can get that for free down in the description below. And I would also love for you to join me over on Instagram. We have a really good time. We talk all things wellness, non-toxic living, and online business. So if those things sound up your alley, I would love for you to join me over on Instagram. So I would love to connect, and we can kind of work on, sifting through all the science, sifting through all the non-science, sifting through everything about non-toxic and wellness living together. And I know this is a little bit of a new flavor for my channel, but I'm gonna do more and more about non-toxic living and wellness in the future. So if that's what you're into, go ahead, subscribe, like this video, and let's just connect across all platforms. I'm excited for this journey, and I will see you guys in the next video.